Alright guys, it's about noon. I'm starving. I just got this side in. What I'm really rushing for is to get this silicone areas on so that they can have some setup time, because usually you should leave it set overnight, and I might be pushing it, although that's my priority. So I grabbed a bag full of brand new pushrod tubes, and as I was putting this side together, there was one that looked kind of funny, and I set it aside, grabbed another one, and now that I've got a few minutes to take a look at it, I'm sure glad I did, because I want to show you what I found here. Okay, so I just grabbed them out of the pile, and I noticed this little rise here, and it's like, I don't like that. I'll grab a more, one that's nice like this side. I don't even know if that side looks as good, but let me show you. I don't know. You see it? You see the hole? That would have leaked big time, and it's right at the factory seam. So when they did the crimp job, it just ran into a problem there. I hope the rest of them are okay. That doesn't speak too well of these tubes, and I'm not sure where I got them, but I had stretched them, and I didn't like the looks of that. So something to watch out for. You have to go for every detail as you're building these things. One other little thing, excuse me. So I'm going over to this side of the engine, and I'm cleaning it off, prepping it, and I go to turn the engine over to get the rod to hang out, and it won't turn. And I'm saying, uh-oh, what in the world could be the matter? And as it turns out, everything's fine. But I'll tell you something that you got to look for. I'll show you something. I had clearanced everything, checked everything. Okay, if I get it right in the center like this, I want to see for myself. See how when you have it centered, I got a mile of room. I got 1/8 of an inch. But when it was laying down here, and I came up, or I picked it up, whatever it was I did, when I spun it, it hit. This thing is... There's 10 pounds of shit, and this is only a 5-pound bag. Be careful. Okay, guys. I know we just did this on the 2110, but somebody might watch this 1800 build series and not see that. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on. On your cylinders, pistons and cylinders, I just put a bead of RTV around the base of the cylinder, between the shim and the cylinder if you're using shims. I don't smear it. Every time I've done that, I've picked up pieces of silicone in my oil strainer, because I usually break it in with the oil strainer and run it that way for a while. So if you just do it like this, it'll bead up on the outside. You can maybe see it on this cylinder over here. And it just makes a nice round bead. You do it whatever way you like. Alright, so make sure our piston is pointing the right way for whichever cylinder you're going to start with. And get your wrist pin out there a little ways. Get it set up. I have both cylinders ready to go. There's an arrow on the top of your piston that is to point towards the flywheel. Get your connecting rod sticking out here. I'm going to start with this flywheel side. see me doing something wrong, let me know. We'll change it. Now these are the hyper-eutectic pistons. This is an 1800cc build, and take my flashlight. Still not in all the way. There we go, that felt better. Okay, now I can see my crack, and it looks like I'm flush up against this side, and I don't want to leak oil down here and then have it on my seating surface. I got the wrist pin oiled. Now I'm going to take my, this one I'm not using buttons, but I am putting the sharp side towards the cylinder and the rounded side towards the wrist pin. Standard procedure. These are just stamped out of a plate. Probably would have been better to go from the other side. But this way you can see me struggle in living color, huh? I guess it is good to show it this way with the clip. And you'll know when it's in there, it'll snap in usually. Now they're not perfectly round, at least this brand isn't. And that wasn't in there all the way. I'm going to get something to push. I'd rather not use something sharp. I have a wooden dowel here. There. Did you hear that? I heard it and saw it. Details. The details will kill you. There's certain places that you can rush, and then there's certain places that you don't want to. Now I like to put my clip holes parallel to the connecting rod so that if it does get excited and do something, I don't think it'll bend. Heck, the round ones that are stock don't bend, but I'm talking about reasonable RPM too. With stock, it's pretty hard to go wrong. Little piece of that RTV will spread once you get into it. Alright, got our wrist pin clips on both sides, got our silicones up, got our arrow pointing to the flywheel, got our spacer on. Yeah! Sweet! Alright, one more on this side. These are short connecting rods. 5.325 by 74. Arrow pointed to the flywheel. Everything back. Nice. Just can't see anymore. But when I do find the hole, I'm in. Yeah. This is the first time I've put the distributor drive gear in before the end, and I think I like that. Sharp side towards you, outside here. Round side up against the wrist pin, that way in case it does creep around and move around, you're not creating a problem. Be nice if I had two eyes to see what I'm doing here. I think you could hear that one clicking it. You know, I caught myself when I was answering a comment on something I posted already, I was calling those piston rings in my 2110 perfect circle. I don't know where that came from. They're total seal piston rings. I'm using total seal piston rings in the second groove. The 2110 has them, and the inside of those cylinders look great, and they've always had good compression, so I thought it'd be a good idea to get a set for this one. And I just don't see the wear at the base of the cylinder. I don't think that, you know, 40 thousandths of an inch difference is really going to be a deal breaker, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong. This is my first time with this build, and I'll tell you, depending on how it runs will determine whether I do it again. I think a 2-liter is probably your biggest and easiest combination out of the box to do. Now I got to stop talking and pay attention. Get my head. Nothing like good head in bed, you know? Somebody was making a funny about that. I got some oil, just enough on my fingers. I just take a little oil on my finger, and I get these push rod tubes oiled. And somebody's probably saying, don't forget your diffuser. I put it right with the push rod tubes so that I can't. Alright, I like this type 3. That way you don't have to run any tin at all if you don't want to. This is always fun. Always a cluster. Now I put oil on it, but that one doesn't feel like it. Did I show you that one bad one that I have? On the other side, I was grabbing through them and noticed a bad one. it didn't look bad when I just saw it. I just grabbed a different one, but had a little hole in it. That would have been annoying, especially, I think it was at the seam, so it would have been at the top, but you still would have got oil out of there. This is always a pain. Oh, I don't think I stretched these. No wonder they're going in so easy. Give them a little stretch, side to side. Stick your socket in there. If it goes easy and it's a struggle, you're probably doing something wrong. Now, if there's a long side, I'll put that to the case, just for giggles. I don't worry about the seam until I get them all in there. Yeah, this seems more like the struggle I'm used to. Alright, now when you got everything on it, and the weight of the head on it, then start feeling for your seams, and roll those to the top. And I like to take my flashlight and zero them up right at 12 o'clock. Come on. That one's fighting me. Don't fight me. Why are you fighting me? Oh, my hands are all oily. There we go, I feel it move. Alright. Now, since this is going to be together for a while, I've already buttered the back side of my head bolt washers. They're going on the inside. You know, it doesn't seem like much, but that stuff is a pain in the neck to clean out of those holes when you're cleaning up your heads. Alright, now we'll go around, wipe our fingers. Hope everybody else is having a good day. I sure been putting myself under the gun here. But that's okay. It sure has made the winter go by fast. Looks like spring is trying to arrive. Oh, hey, I bled. I just bled. I'm going to wipe it right on there. Ha! No job is complete unless you bleed a little. I just caught myself on a little burr. Ever notice that? Seems like if it goes too good, there's always problems. These are the Magnum 44 heads that were on my 2110. I cleaned them up and I'm going to put them on here. They're great heads. The ports aren't huge like that other set. I think that other set is more suitable. I am going to put heater boxes on this because it's a smaller motor and it's less compression and I want to. Most importantly, that last part. It was nice yesterday when I went to pick up that stuff from the balancer. Then all of a sudden in the afternoon, it started getting crummy. Oh my. I said, I was sort of thinking on the way there, you know, I could just drive the tub buggy to Portland. And Mother Nature reminded me why I don't want to do that. I'm just snugging things up. If the engine wants to talk to you, listen. I do not put sealer on these head bolts. I didn't before. These are the factory ones. They have the blind case inserts. This is an AS21 case, so there's probably little or no chance of leakage from there unless I say something like I just did. Then it'll probably be a gusher. I'll be glad when I get this head on so I can get something to eat. I'm starving. Haven't had anything to eat all morning because now I can take it easy because you need time for that silicone to set up. Sure, it's supposed to wait overnight, but I got a feeling we're going to light this thing off before the day's over. Not sure, but that's what I'd like to do. And I'm going to start down here about 10 and yep. One thing I want to do before I get too crazy tight in here, I want to center up. You can see those white silicone seals. I like to center those in the hole. Don't get in a rush just because you hit the R button. I know you guys, some of you guys hate long videos, and others of you like them. Kind of tell by the remarks, but that's okay. We'll try to do a little bit of both. Start at the inside, crisscross pattern. Oh, I guess you don't see anything but my back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Alright. Actually, I want to raise it up. I'm going to go to 15 next. Once you get that moving, don't stop. And then when it clicks, that's the end of it. Don't keep clicking it. If you screw up, back them all off and start over. Your results may differ. That's fine. That's why I was taught in high school auto mechanics. Mr. Hartmeister. He'd make you go back and do bookwork if he caught you doing that kind of stuff. Alright. Bada bing, bada boom. Now I gotta get something to eat. Starting to look more like an engine. I hope everything goes good. It's been one surprise after another. I'm trying not to overlook stuff. Well guys, it's Wednesday night. I skipped my yoga class. The sun's going down. Kind of pretty. I was hoping that I would have had this thing fired up by now, but we're pretty darn close. Getting ready to crank it for oil pressure. So thought I'd give you a walk around. No rocker arms on it, no push rods in. We're just going to crank for oil pressure with the spark plugs out, no load. We want to prime the moving parts in there. I've got lube on the cam and the lifters. This way they just get pushed back. It doesn't rub it off with the spring pressure. But we want to prime it up. So that's what we're going to do. I always love the looks of those carburetors. They just look badass. Duals, big 48 IDAs, or any of those dual two-throats. Got my pressure plate on. Got my heater boxes. Yes, sir. So, yeah, I got my refrigeration gauge hooked up here to the oil section. So let's just let it crank for a while and see what we get. Got to fill that filter. Come on, baby. I see something happening. Come on. There it goes. Sweet time, huh? Build up a lot of pressure because there's so many things that are off of it, you know what I mean? Nothing's touching. It's just filling the mains and the journals. I want to do this for about a minute. Alright, so that's what we do. Pre-lube, pre-start. Now I'll put my rocker arms in, push rods, adjust my valve clearance, put my spark plugs in. I already got it timed. I made a video about static timing, so I need to get that up, and I need to get some fuel. So get the crack-a-lackin'. I gotta lube up all that rocker arm snot. Put some, squirt some oil down those push rod tubes. Maybe I'll crank it again. You don't want to crank it too much though with pressure on those cam lobes. You want to get this thing lit off and not idle it. Run it around 2 grand for a few minutes. But it looks like I'm losing my light, so I figured I'd turn you on now. Everything's working out pretty good. This is what you got to do for my heater boxes when you have headers. That's always an issue. But since there's always cold air going through here, it's amazing. You'll burn a hole through them occasionally, but not as often as you would think. I don't know what that stuff is made out of, but it's pretty durable. There's my full flow. No, I shouldn't say that. That is not a full flow oil pump or filter. It's just a oil filter and a pump. But it's eliminates all that tangled up stuff that we were doing before. I think it makes for a nicer, cleaner package. And when you look at it from down below here, you've got ground clearance. And what I've done in the past for that oil filter, since there's air that comes out from the cylinders and blows across, I will take a piece of aluminum and a big hose clamp, and I'll make a little spacer, kind of a heat shield on the front, towards the front of the car, and just leave it open here in the back. And it's not an issue. It doesn't really heat the oil. Your oil's going through there pretty quick. So, yeah. Everybody's outside enjoying the weather. It's supposed to be up to 72 tomorrow. And hopefully I'll get this lid off tonight and run. So tomorrow we can adjust the valves, put it in the car, go for a ride. How's that sound? I still got some more tin to put on back here. Yep, I know you guys like to watch me fumble around, so I thought I'd let you have a bird's eye view here. Neighborhood sure got quiet when the sun went down. Okay, what I've got here is my dad's old oil can. Little brass one. Something broke on it. I had to resolder it, but it always brings back memories. Now what I've done is I've taken my Jeanberg chromoly push rods, and I got all of them in here, and there's an oil hole right on the end of it. And my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm out of oil from doing the other side. It gets hard. Once it gets full, it gets hard to squeeze, and you can feel you're getting pressure, and then you can jam a few more squirts into the lifter itself. I'm going to mix up another batch of this. I got some magic stuff. I got a little regular oil and some, I like this Pure Synthetic by Lucas. It's just so slippery and it's so clear. It's almost like KY jelly. No, it's actually slicker. So we'll go back to that first one. 1, 2. See, it gets real hard to squeeze. Then I'll go to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now it's getting hard again, see? It wants to back out here. That's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. The reason I'm doing this is because obviously it takes time to fill all this stuff with the oil pump from the engine, and I want to make sure, just being anal, and I read it in a book. Alright? A book, same color as this shop towel. How's that, huh? Get tired of hearing that shit, I'm sure. And we're going to put a dab on my cups and my oil. I'm just putting a touch on my rocker arms. All this stuff, I got heavy duty springs on those. See if I can do this one. Done. Alright, I think I'm on cylinder 2. Oh, good. Now, the Jeanberg style swivel feet have a Allen wrench, and you don't use a screwdriver, which makes it kind of nice for getting it dialed in. And I'm going to set them all at 6. Because even though it's a used head, things are going to settle and relax, and this is just for the warm up, the initial startup that we should be doing here, hopefully before I go to bed. I sure appreciate all the comments and stuff. There was a bunch of questions, but I can't think of any right now, or I'd answer them. Do the question and answer while we're working. Be efficient. Wouldn't that be a concept, huh? I'm starting to get excited. There were so many things. I was putting the head on, and I already had the head on. Didn't have the camera going. And there's a little O-ring that goes underneath these rocker stands that we're working on here. And I thought, oh, those are old. I might as well change those too, because I had to crack into a gasket kit to get all the gaskets I needed for this. And I thought, this little O-ring, you know, it's straight, and I had my little pick, and it like popped off, went right over the stem, and right down one of those push rod tubes, right down inside the engine. And I thought, oh no, well at least it's not metal, and I still had it up in the stand, so I was able to just rotate it around. I started to say Hail Mary, and the dang thing fell on the floor. Oh man, wouldn't that suck? Drop a bolt or a nut or something. I guess it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I'm kind of on that deadline thing. So I still got to do number 4 on the other side. I'm going to turn you off for now. This is just pretty repetitious and boring. So I'm sure you're getting tired of that. I'm going to throw the spark plugs in here while I'm sitting here. And yeah, give everything another little squirt. Doesn't hurt, you know. Get your springs, get everything, make a mess, you know. Everything's gonna have to settle into spot, you know, find its happy spot again. I glued in my new valve cover gaskets. Glued. Use that aviation sealer. Glued. What did I do with my screwdriver? Where'd you put my screwdriver? These bales are... I got new bales. Oh. Everything's new. Just like a new engine practically. Man, that's tight. I'm going to take the old ones with me just in case. Oh, get my sparky plugs. Let's see, what should we run here? I've been having, oh, I got to get the long ones for this engine, that's right. I better run what I had in here. Auto lights. Yeah, I've been having real good luck with these auto lights. Better so than the, now this is the 44 Magnum head, and the gap is perfect. The long reach. Better to do it now, here, outside of the car. These dual carbs definitely get in the way. I don't put anything on my spark plug threads. Some guys put that never sees on it, but these are the long reach plugs. If anything, I'd put a drop of oil on them. I've done that in the past, but I never seem to have a problem with it. Coming out, get my little nifty snifty short socket and my little baby 1/4 inch drive crescent. This seems to me like it'd be boring and shit. I don't know if you guys like watching this kind of stuff. Here's the part where I start struggling again. Looking for stuff I just had a little while ago. I don't put my spark plugs in at no 25 pounds either. I just tighten them with a couple of fingers, call it good. That's probably one of the weaker points of the Volkswagen, especially in the stock one. And this, what the hell was that? Got tight and then it got loose again. Doesn't it suck when you break one? You get down there to tighten it and something's not straight. Yeah, this rubber been missing for years. And all of a sudden, clack, snick. Come on. This is one of those fine tooth ratchets. See, the problem is these, the bolts for the intake manifold. Everything is really close. That's another thing they don't tell you. One of these days I'm going to build a totally stock engine. Closest I've gotten was a 1776 with a stock cam. The one that's in Valerie. I think when I get back, I got a friend of mine that lives here in town, and he came over and he saw my setup here. He says, hey, since you're going to be gone, can I borrow your stand? Can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? I says, nope. I says, you got a ton of Volkswagen stuff, and you're in this for the duration. You need to get some of this stuff for yourself and hang on to it. He's an old cuss like me, but he's a cheap bastard. Hope he didn't watch this. I can edit that out. He's a nice guy. He's a good friend. But, you know, I just don't like loaning out tools, whether I'm gone or not. I've had too many bad experiences doing it. So, hang in here. You guys are my pit crew. So, if you see anything crazy, let me know. I'll need a fireman. I'll need all these different people doing different things. Probably less than ideal conditions, but I think I got everything right. Got the power on. We got oil in it. We got fuel in it. What else do we need here? Valve covers. I guess this is it. Shit, a month of friggin' messing around comes down to this. Crazy. These pockets suck. Alright, enough of this horse shit. That's it. I don't think that right carburetor was even running. But the deal is, though, no matter how bad it sounds or no matter what's happening, you want to keep the RPMs up. You don't want to be tuning it and playing with it or letting it idle. And my, here, let me just take out the stand. Everything looked good except my connection where I was getting my oil pressure from. That thing was not tight and made a mess. And I saw it leaking over here. And this carburetor, I think, was leaning out. All we had was this one little tank of gas. This thing does not have a fuel pump, and I didn't want to put it in the car to run it. I think we got a good test. I think we got a good cam brake in. I think I'm happy with it, guys. Now tomorrow morning we'll clean up the mess, run the valves. Yeah. Man, I can't believe how it came to life so quick. I had, looking down the carburetor throats, I could see it squirting. But I think we ran out of fuel, is what happened. This rotten, rusty little tank. Well, there's a little bit in there. Yeah, see, it's trying to fill the carburetors. That's what happened. This thing could not fulfill the bill here. I figured that might happen. I've used it before. These carburetors have been sitting in the garage here for a couple months. Haven't used them, so yeah. Oh well. Nothing very impressive, but under the time constraints, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Now, ideally, I could drain the oil out of it, but maybe I'll do one more test with it tomorrow morning after I adjust the valves, look it over. Yeah. So, there you go. The 1800 comes to life. So, hopefully it can get me 1,200 miles down the road without crapping on itself. Sure didn't sound very good just now, but I started messing with the carbs and the linkage wasn't synced perfect. Excuses, excuses. But I'm happy. Well, I'm going to clean up, disconnect this battery, and call it a night. Whew! Wednesday night. We got her to fire. Thanks, guys. Probably couldn't have done it without you.